Hey, I'm Sunny Syria, but you can all call me Sunny. Today is our first episode of Young and Amplified, and today's special is about Youth Day. But before I get into that, I'd like to tell you what Young and Amplified is all about. It's a platform where youth can be heard, noticed, and given credit for all the good works they do. It'll also tackle all challenges that youth members have to face on a daily or regular basis. About Youth Day. It's a day that changed South Africa's history. In 1976, the government introduced Afrikaans as a medium of instruction. English and Afrikaans were going to be split into a 50-50 basis. And black students from grade 7 up needed to do mathematics and social studies in Afrikaans. Can you imagine? Protesting students marched towards Orlando Stadium, and they were led by Sam Zima. Tsietsi Mashinini. And Sam Zima is the man that shot the famous picture of the dying Hector Peterson. Now, I'd like to introduce my guests to you guys. Andisile Jerry Ndakura, Tembi Beto, Kaylin Princely. Warm welcome for them, please. Who would you describe Jerry as?
I describe him as someone who's very, very quiet, very intellectual, and someone who's very, very driven and has a lot of ambition.
Yeah. And what drives you in life, now that you say you're driven?
What drives me in life is making something of myself and setting goals.
And do you have any short-term goals you'd like to share with us?
Yes. I'm hoping to get a position in the JCC board.
Wow.
So that's I'm aiming at for now, but the others are very, very long term.
And you in pretty high demand at school. You're chairperson of RCL, you're a prefect, you're a counselor in the JCC. How do you handle all these responsibilities?
It's all about priorities and what comes first to you as a person. It's all about balancing and time management in the same time.
And what would you say your priorities are?
Firstly, it's education, and then doing something that not only benefit myself but others as well, and also as well as leadership, I think.
And where does your spiritual growth fall into all of this?
I place it above everything else. I look up to God, and before I do something, I ask myself, will God be happy or will he be disappointed in what I'm doing? So that's how I balance everything out. And
tell me why you think every youth member in South Africa should find the 16th of June, which is now the public holiday of Youth Day, to be a very memorable day and pay much attention to it.
The thing is, people died for that. People fought for that freedom, and we as youth are taking advantage of it in a bad way. They fought for our education, but now we are for granted in the sake. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay, wow. And what are your dreams for South Africa's future? Your personal dreams. What is your ideal South Africa?
My ideal South Africa is to see each and every child be educated in a proper way, as well as good leadership. That's what I think.
And okay, I hear you, because we have, most of us have things handed to us on a silver plate, but we still look for more, we still want more.
It's all about greed and not accepting that you have. That's what I think it's all about.
True. And what would you say are the huge challenges for youth right now?
At this moment in time, I think it's drug and alcohol abuse, teenage pregnancy, as well as leaders that are very, very autocratic leaders that are not interested in the youth in particular, who are there for just for financial gain.
And do you have any ideas for a change in those things?
Any ideas for change? I strongly implement career expos in underprivileged schools, as well as motivational talks with the youth to sort of like integrate them and to change and shift their mindsets with regards to their lives and their whole future. That's what I think.
That's Andisile for you guys. And my second guest, Tembi, one of my most lovely team of producers who make this show possible. What would you say drives you in life?
I have a lot that drives me actually. I'm inspired by a lot, but what wakes me up and keeps me sane every day is a picture of myself on my door. So it's the first thing I see when I wake up. It's the word blessing on my door, and it's pictures of people that inspire me. So I wake up, obviously with the prayer, I see that I'm blessed. I see that I am a driven person, because I see myself, and I see all these people that have been through a lot but still made it. So that drives me.
And have you noticed that when you're a girl, you tend to put the world's things on your shoulders?
Yes.
There's always someone who you let down when you do something bad. that.
Of course.
Instead of saying, I let myself down, when you get a disappointment, you're like, oh, what's my mother going to say? What's my this going to say? It's always like that.
Yeah, it is.
And you're hoping and working to become junior counsel in the JCC. And what do you think your impact will be in that?
Okay, well, the reason I wanted to be in the JCC is because of people like Jerry,
Yeah.
who's the senior counsel for our school. So obviously you can see Jerry is very ambitious and he's driven, and that is exactly what I want to be like. So I know that I can make a difference there because I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
I could work with a lot of different people, and I
And
think
you're pretty easy to get along with.
so
You're quite a bubbly and cheerful girl, like me. Don't you ever, okay, this is a problem I always have. Don't you ever, you're ambitious, you're driven, well, kind of a package in my case. But concentration and focus, I just don't have it. It's like yanking out teeth, getting me to concentrate and focus on something. Don't you ever get that?
never.
Ever?
No. I constantly, if I'm on, like, actually,
Okay.
so, like, honestly, if I'm going to do something,
Yeah.
I always do things too much than too little. Like,
Really?
I'm the in-your-face type of girl, and a lot of people don't like it, but it's just how I am.
It's working for you, so don't change it.
Yeah, of course not, never.
Okay, and do you think you'll be able to balance all these things you're putting on? Like you're working on Young and Amplified, which has a campaign for girls called TRB, which stands for True Radiant Beauty.
Okay.
And you seem to feel pretty strongly about our code of conduct and what we're all about.
Yeah.
Like, do you think you'll manage all those things? Which projects are you working on right now? It's Young and Amplified, the JCC, True Radiant Beauty.
Yes.
And how are you going to manage all? And you were even in the Fly Mag just recently.
Yeah.
You were modeling. How are you going to handle all of this?
I think I like to be busy. I can't stand sitting at home and not knowing what I want to do next. I love being busy. So once I'm totally drained, I think I'm going to understand it. Otherwise, now I can take on anything. I have a project working on, you guys will hear about pretty soon. And there's the Fly Mag, there's school, there's JCC, there's everything. So I'm pretty driven about it.
You are very driven, you are very admirable, and I think a lot of young girls can look up to you. You have earned tons of my respect since the day I met you. You made your
Very
mark.
much.
And my third lovely guest, Miss Kaylin Princeman. And why are we sitting here with you today? We are here because you recently found out great news about a competition you won. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, I'm very Christian, so obviously I'm gonna be interested in entering Christian things. Obviously. I'm in a full gospel competition, and they have this like every year. It's this ongoing competition.
Yeah.
Obviously, Full Gospel Church is very famous. It's all around the world. You always hear them in the news. And and I've recently like entered it. I didn't even know it was a competition before. I just thought it was a talent show that I'm just entering. And then like at the night I found out, and I was like really nervous. I was really nervous.
Because you prepared like to just do your thing on stage.
Yeah, just be comfortable and just do it. And I found out it was a competition. I was very nervous, but I found out the next day that I won. And I'm going to Durban to be
wow.
Very excited, very excited.
And the nerves? How are the nerves?
Yo, they're like, psh.
They're like,
high.
But after Durban, what's the step after Durban?
If you
win
go to
or whatever.
You go to internationals, you'll be overseas, and that's actually a new one for me because I've never been further than. I haven't even been to Limpopo, and that's like the furthest point.
Yeah.
I haven't been anywhere near there, so it'd be nice to be out of South Africa for a change.
And it's for spiritual dancing, you say?
Yes, spiritual dancing.
Oh wow. Like how old were you when you started?
Dancing was spiritual dancing.
Spiritual dancing.
I actually started last year.
Really?
Yes.
And dancing? Were you a dancer before that?
Yes, since pre-primary. Done ballet.
So your mother is probably like one of the mothers that are like, oh, my child could dance before she could walk. One of those mothers.
No.
Oh, my God. So in the family.
Yeah.
And do you plan on taking spiritual dancing or any dancing as a career one day?
It's a fun hobby. I'm like very talented in it. I've noticed that now. I'm not too conceited, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but No.
Don't you want to take it as a career?
I have like, if I could, I would, but I have others.
It's hard to break into this industry. Like, people hear me saying, they ask me, you're going to be a singer. They hear me singing, and they're like, you're going to be a singer one day. I'm like, no, not at all. I think I was born to be an entertainer, but not in that. It's another thing when you're talented and passionate about something, but sometimes you're given a talent, but you have another dream. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And if you don't end up taking spiritual dancing as a career, what do you see yourself as? What do you want to study? How do you want to make your mark?
Well, I hate when people do things. Like, I love law.
Oh gosh, please don't tell me you're going to be a lawyer.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
Too much drama, can't have.
Okay.
But I'm very like, how can I say, you know, I like working out, like solving problems.
So let me guess, forensics.
Yes, forensic psychology.
Wow. Oh, psychology.
Yes.
So explain to me how forensic psychology works, because I know forensics are like when you take the DNA and you look at all that stuff. And I look at it, I'm like, what? People actually study to want to do this for the rest of their lives. Now, how does the psychology work? Do you like interview the killer?
You do.
What?
You interview all the suspects and everything. You'd go to the crime scenes and...
Something's wrong with this girl. Oh my God. So what if he's not mentally stable? Or she? You know, women are very deep.
Yes. No, there would be like bodyguards and police like standing there with you. So
okay, say he's sitting like this and he just grabs your throat. Are you up for that now? Like,
not now, but I mean,
someday. And I want to ask, now that we're talking about you putting yourself in such dangerous scenarios, do you think women are still underestimated in this country? In certain careers? Do you guys think so?
Honestly, no.
Yes, I think so.
No.
Obviously, he's going to say no. Why would you say no?
The thing is, everyone has now equal opportunities and everyone sees themselves as equal to men. There's no more, you see that discrimination or that inequality between men and women. You guys have equal rights as we do, and you guys have much rights than we do. You guys have 16 days of activism of which we don't have. You guys have organizations that support. Honestly,
But still, I
you
think
guys get more respect.
Okay, let's get Tammy out.
we will forever be discriminated against,
I think so
especially in this country.
Not
Yes.
honestly.
Okay, the business side is really working. The business and politics, they're doing well.
Yes,
They are doing well.
which is true. But based on what Jerry's saying in the question I asked you, it's like we the new youth, we were reminded this weekend that we have to pull our socks up and make our marks. Everyone always said the youth of today is the future, okay? But who's doing something about it? And the woman. Let me tell you something, Jerry. The woman. A new National Commissioner of Police or Justice. She's a very, very, very intellectual woman. She's very smart. And she's not saying she's going to do this and that. She's just saying she's going to do everything that's in her power to have an impact, a positive impact. But I was sitting amongst men and watching that thing. And surprisingly, one man, I thought after this new thing we're going through about women being equal, someone would be like, wow, she's going to do good. Someone was like, how can we put a woman in something for justice, something so dangerous? How's she going to handle it?
Well, that guy's a stereotype. But you see, a woman was elected, meaning that she has the same power a man has.
Okay, based on the stereotype in that.
Stereotype.
It's a stereotype. Can you think of how many stereotypes are keeping this world running, especially our country? Black men are this, white men are this one's that. It's all stereotypes.
Well,
who took a survey and said 1 out of 36 men are like this? No one. It's just you basing your judgment on social activity.
A stereotype is a false judgment that is not based
on
on facts.
social activity.
True, but if you're passionate about what you do and have dreams about it, then you won't let it forbid you.
So you think in South Africa everything is so equal?
Yes. That's basically what you're saying.
This either in business and politics they are doing well because women are leading the way.
Yes.
But there are lots of other things where they just like, no, this is a man's job and this is something that you cannot do.
And I hate this.
Yes.
I'm at home, okay, everyone has chores to do.
Yeah.
I don't mind doing chores.
Oh, I know.
But I hate that where they're like, no, your brother can't do the dishes, it's a girl's job.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my word, but he acts like a girl.
Yes, exactly. Like,
I do them dishes, I wash my own washing at home, I even clean the windows.
Jerry, are you an only child?
No.
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 And you still do your own things.
I still do my own
But
thing.
you're very independent. You're like one out of how many South African teenage guys that do that?
You see, it's not about being stereotyped.
It's a stereotype.
No.
It is.
Shut
Girls,
stereotype.
let me grow up here.
Oh, so you're attacking me now. So you're attacking me now.
No, but in closing for the show, in conclusion, we basically covered a few issues that need to be tackled in our country, and that we as youth have the responsibility to take care of. The stereotype against women. We need to educate men and women about the stereotype, right? We need to take things into our own hands as we grow up, right? And you, Kaylin, don't you think you're gonna come across some pretty vicious stereotypes based on promotions and when they see gender, female? In fact, I don't see Kaylin, sorry. You see, because it is a girl name.
Yeah.
So, don't you think you're gonna get those major stereotypes? Or do you think South Africa will have changed enough to give you a fair chance?
I'm not actually sure what's going to happen in the future, but if that is done, it wouldn't be fair. I would work really hard. If I see like that man, like it's competition between me and him for this job, I'd be like, I'll put every single piece of me in, 110%.
You just raised a very valid point. And just before we close, do you think the careers you guys want will be very demanding? Do you guys want to have families and children one day? And do you guys, especially the girls, women, unfortunately, as she said, we've got to cook, we've got to clean, because it's a woman's job, right? You've got to have kids. You're probably going to be some boss somewhere, or some high position in some company, or entertainment media production, and you, some doctor, some specialist somewhere. Do you guys think you'll be able to handle that? You got to cook and clean, you got to support and do this?
Yes, I think.
You're like superwoman.
I'm very good at pressure. I'm really good at pressure.
I can only work under pressure.
So I think if my husband, my future husband,
any idea who's coming?
No,
okay.
But yes, my husband needs to just understand me, and I'll do my very best for my kids.
And stay long enough for him to know how the lifestyle will be.
Yes, and another problem would be finding the husband, because this world that we live in.
I know! Decent guys just don't exist. Except for today. Guys, thank you so much for being on our first episode of Young and Amplified. Visit our website www.youngamplified.org. You'll find our Twitter page, our Facebook page. Thank you very much. That's all.